بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ثم أما بعد. We'll continue inshallah with the Ramadan daily reminders. This will be day 11 and we'll continue with Ayatul Nur. Yesterday we talked about Nurun ala Nur, the light of revelation coming in contact with the light within, the Iman that we have inherent in us, and how that sparks the actualization of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and of real Iman. Now those individuals who have this realization, who are they? What is the spiritual manifestation for such people? في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. In houses of worship where they were permitted to be raised and His name is mentioned, يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال, He is being glorified in these houses of worship in the mornings and in the evenings. In the morning and in the evenings, that means throughout the whole day. So the spiritual manifestation of such individuals is that they go to the masajid and they become part of the congregations where they engage in the constant glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the morning at Fajr time, in the evening at Isha time, any time in between when they are available, you will find them in the masajid because of their attachment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Those are men where neither trade nor selling will divert them from the remembering of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're not interested, in other words, in the worldly life. They're interested in worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِقَامِ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ. You find them keeping up their prayers. Iqam al-salat, not necessarily establishing because they are believers. They frequent the masajid. They already pray, but they keep up their prayers. They're there on time. They pray on time. They are there before the Imam gets in so they can be in the first line and get the ajr of those worshippers who are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely. Nothing can divert them from that. Neither trade nor selling nor buying nor any worldly possessions or worldly matters at all. وَإِقَامِ الصَّلَاةِ وَإِيتَاءِ الزَّكَاةِ. At the same time you find them keeping up their prayers and also paying their zakat. They are charitable above and beyond their zakat. They give sadaqat. They look at the affairs of the people in the masjid, in the community, see who is in need, and they help. Those are the kinds of people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing in these ayat, who have real deep conviction, real deep iman. And not only that they do these good deeds and are attached to the masajid, their attitude regarding the day of judgment, regarding the akhirah, يَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا تَتَقَلَّبُ فِيهِ الْقُلُوبُ وَالْأَبْصَارِ. They are so determined to continue doing what they are doing because they fear on the day of judgment the overturning of their sights and their hearts. They know exactly what is going to happen on the day of judgment. That's because they're familiar with the Qur'an, naturally. The Qur'an tells us exactly what to expect in the hereafter. And those individuals, you find them very disturbed about the scenes that are depicted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, lest they become one of them. And they don't want that. لِيَجْزِيَهُمُ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنَ مَا عَمِلُوا وَيَزِيدَهُم مِّن فَضْلِهِ. And their actions obviously will cause Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward them on the basis of the best of what they had done. وَيَزِيدَهُم مِّن فَضْلِهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase their rewards out of the bounties and the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, the levels that are in paradise are according to the deeds one does in this world. Iman is a must, but beyond Iman is how much good deeds you have done. The more, the higher you go in the levels of Jannah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the deeds of those believers, He will raise them darajat and ranks in the hereafter. But in addition to that, He can, out of His grace, give to any one of those believers the reward that He so pleases. وَاللَّهُ يَرْزُقُ مَن يَشَاءُ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. And Allah will give provision to whomever He wills without any accountability. He is very swift in reckoning, and He will give sustenance to whomever He wills without any accountability at all. That's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the hearts of the people, knows their niyyah and their intention. It's one thing to frequent the masjid and show off. It's another thing when you come to the masjid with the sincere, pure intention to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, as opposite to this picture that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had shown us regarding those believers, Allah is contrasting this with the disbelievers. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَعْمَالُهُمْ كَسَرَابٍ بِقِيعَةٍ يَحْسَبُهُ الظَّمْآنُ مَاءً. And the disbelievers, the deeds of the disbelievers are like a mirage in a desert. You know, when you are in a desert and the sun is beaten on the sand and you look on the horizon, you will see mirage, sarab, kind of like wavy thing that looks like water. So those individuals who do good deeds supposedly here, disbelievers still have some morality in them, if you know what I mean. They're not totally immoral. So when those good deeds that they have done here in this world, for them, they see it as if, here the example is Allah has given us, as if they're looking ahead, as if there's some reward for them. Like a thirsty person, when he sees water, he wants to go after it. And that's the example we are given here. يَحْسَبُهُ الظَّمْآنُ مَاءً. A very thirsty person, when he looks in the horizon and he sees the mirage, he finds it looks to him as if it is water, and he wants to go after it to have water. حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَهُ لَمْ يَجِدْهُ شَيْئًا وَوَجَدَ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ. Until he gets there and finds, to his utter disappointment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instead of the water. In other words, he will keep thinking that he's doing good deeds when they have rejected Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the time of death comes. And when the time of death comes, they find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right there. And there's a hadith where it says, when a person dies, his qiyamah begins immediately. In other words, the person knows precisely what is awaiting that person after death. So those individuals, although they may think that they have done good deeds, but to their utter disappointment, they will find Allah there, and Allah will reckon their deeds. فَوَفَّاهُ حِسَابَهُ وَاللَّهُ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. And Allah is very quick in reckoning, very swift in account. So this is the one, and we have the ayah from Surah Al-Kahf also. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Say, O Prophet, shall we inform you of those whose deeds are going to go in vain? الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيَهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَيَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. Those are the ones who think here in this world that they are doing good deeds, that they are those who are in this world have lost all their deeds while they think that they were doing good. So oftentimes we encounter these people a lot of times. They do charitable deeds, they do all sorts of good deeds, but they disbelieve in Allah. They reject Allah. And to what use all these good deeds? They will benefit them here in this world, but not in the akhirah. So those are the disbelievers that are being mentioned here. Now the second and the last portion of this section is talking about disbelievers who have gone beyond return at all. At least for those disbelievers, if they had seen the truth, or if perhaps someone shows them the truth, they may follow it. But there are the types of Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab, whom no matter what you do, no matter what Qur'an you present to them, they are not going to believe. And that example is mentioned in the last ayah of this section of Ayatul Nur. أَوْ كَظُلُمَاتٍ فِي بَحْرٍ لُجِّيٍّ يَغْشَاهُ مَوْجٌ مِّن فَوْقِهِ مَوْجٌ مِّن فَوْقِهِ سَحَابٌ. Or like darkness in the deep sea, covered with wave, and on top of that is wave, and yet covered with a cloud. ظُلُمَاتٌ بَعْضُهَا فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ. Darkness upon darkness. They already have the darkness that polluted their hearts and their minds and their nature. You know, the heart that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created pure, the heart that is based on pure fitrah, that has been polluted, now has turned black totally. Now nothing can penetrate that. So add to that the dhulumat, the extra darkness of shirk and kufr. Now they are in total utter darkness. أو كظلمات في بحر لجي يغشاه موج من فوقه موج من فوقه سحاب ظلمات بعضها فوق بعض إذا أخرج يده لم يكد يراها. You know, those people, they become so blind, spiritually blind, not necessarily physically. Abu Jahl had an eyesight and he would see Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would hear his words, but spiritually they were blind and deaf. So those individuals in which darkness is placed upon other darkness, if they were to look at their hands, they will not be able to see it. It's a simile, it's an example to show you how far they have gone in their disbelief. They are beyond coming back. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِن نُور. And whomever Allah deprives of His light can never see the light of revelation, the light of guidance. Whomever Allah sends astray, no one can guide ever. That's why the description of the disbelievers, Surah Al-Baqarah, immediately after the description of the believers, وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, those disbelievers, it's the same with them. Whether you warn them or you don't warn them, they will not believe. Abu Jahl knew that it was the truth, but he will not believe. Abu Lahab knew that his nephew is speaking the truth, but he would not believe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a stamp on their hearts. You know, the heart where the pure fitrah is residing, it became so polluted that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a stamp on it. Nothing can penetrate their hearts. No light can penetrate their hearts. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم. And He put a seal on their hearings. وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة. And He covered their sight so they can't see the truth anymore. And they will have a very severe punishment. So وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِن نُور. Whomever Allah deprives of His light can never see the light. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He continues to show us the light, the divine light, so we can, inshaAllah ta'ala, walk on the sirat with the light of the Qur'an jumping ahead of us, guiding us to paradise, inshaAllah ta'ala. Allahumma ameen. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.